Up 6-1 in the third inning, 3 defensive miscues, 8 unanswered runs. This is how a postseason series changes on a dime. Today, we're breaking down the Blue Jays' defensive collapse that handed the Yankees Game 3. And we'll even spotlight a Yankees miscue that will get overlooked in their win. Welcome back to Coach's Tape by Baseball Authority. After our stop bunt breakdown yesterday, we're back with another crucial postseason lesson. How defensive fundamentals separate championship teams from those that fold under pressure. ALDS Game 3, October 7th, Yankee Stadium. Blue Jays up 2-0 in the series, leading 6-1 after 3 innings. This should have been a series sweep. Instead, it became one of the most dramatic playoff collapses in recent memory. The Yankees scored 8 unanswered runs to win 9-6, forcing Game 4. But this wasn't about their clutch hitting. This was about fundamental defensive breakdowns under pressure. Blue Jays error number 1. Kiner-Falefa's ground ball. Bottom of the first inning, Yankees already down 2-0. 2 outs, Ben Rice hits a grounder, second baseman, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Should be inning over. He bobbles the ball, Rice reaches safely, and immediately, Giancarlo Stanton delivers an RBI single. What should have been a 2-0 deficit becomes 2-1. First, let's talk about Kiner-Falefa's experience at second base. He's played 450 games at shortstop in his career, 234 at third base, but only 90 at second base. That's a big factor here. The key to infield defense is reading and counting hops. Every infielder learns there are 3 types of hops: the long hop, the short hop, and the dreaded in-between hop. As the ball is coming to him, he needs to read the hops and make the decision. Either step up to create a short hop, or drop back to create a long hop. You can see the top spin on this ball. The ball hits dirt, grass, dirt, and the fielder doesn't create enough space and gets an in-between hop. In-between hop causes the ball to hit the heel of his glove and drop to the ground. But here's the critical coaching point. Even after he bobbled the ball, he still had plenty of time to make the out. This is where knowing your runner becomes important. When you bobble a ball, the fundamentals are clear. Stay calm, don't rush, pick the ball up with your bare hand, and make a controlled throw. Kiner-Falefa rushed the recovery, looked up as he was grabbing the baseball, instead of trusting that he still had time to make the play. That's the difference between a good infielder and a great one under pressure. This is why defensive versatility can sometimes work against you in crucial moments. At shortstop, Kiner-Falefa has made this play thousands of times. At second base, with only 90 career games, his instincts just aren't as sharp. The angle of the ball, the timing of the hop, even the amount of time you're able to recover after making a mistake. Everything is slightly different at second base. In a playoff game, those small differences get magnified. Coaching takeaways. When you bobble a ball, your first instinct should be to slow down, not speed up. The panic reaction kills more plays than the initial error. Next, we have the defensive substitution that backfired. Here's where John Schneider's decision-making comes under scrutiny. With a 6-1 lead in the third inning, Schneider pinch hits Addison Barger for Kiner-Falefa. Barger stays in the game at third base, a player who hadn't been in the field all game, now defending in a crucial playoff situation. From a coaching perspective, this violates the fundamental rule: don't put cold defenders into a high-leverage situation unless absolutely necessary. With a 5-run lead, there's no urgency for offensive substitutions. Keep your best defenders on the field. But before we get to Toronto's collapse, let's spotlight a Yankees defensive miscue that will get overlooked in the win. And it's a perfect teaching moment about situational awareness. Third inning, Yankees trailing 2-1, runners on first and second. Dalton Varsho hits a line drive to left field that Cody Bellinger almost catches, but can't complete a diving attempt. Bellinger throws the ball to Jazz Chisholm at second base, but Chisholm was caught napping, his back turned to home plate, unaware that David Schneider never stopped running and was sprinting home from third. By the time Chisholm turned around, realized the situation, and threw home, Schneider was safe at the plate. What Jazz should have done? The fundamentals breakdown. As soon as Bellinger doesn't make that diving catch, Jazz's head should have been up, scanning the field for every runner. Rule number 1 for middle infielders: when a ball isn't caught, immediately look for the lead runner. The Blue Jays led the majors in taking extra bases this season. The Yankees scouting report would have emphasized this exact situation. Jazz should have anticipated that Schneider would try to score on any ball that hits the ground in the outfield. That's championship level base running, and Jazz needed championship level awareness. The proper sequence would look like this. Step 1, see Bellinger miss the diving catch. Step 2, immediately locate the runner. Step 3, receive the throw while already turning towards home plate. Step 4, make third of the catcher in one fluid motion. The mental preparation aspect, Jazz himself said, Belly catches that, that's a double play. But when the ball isn't caught, you must be ready for chaos. This is where veteran experience shows. Great middle infielders are always thinking one play ahead, anticipating what runners will do based on the situation. For the coaching takeaways, teach middle infielders to always locate the lead runner. Mental preparation is just as important as physical preparation. Who's running? Know the situation. The Blue Jays' aggressiveness on the bases should have been top of mind. Blue Jays error number 2. Barger's drop pop-up. 4th inning, Austin Wells hits what should be a routine pop-up in the shallow left. But this is where defensive positioning, communication, and weather conditions create the perfect storm for disaster. Austin Wells is a left-handed hitter, so the Blue Jays had their infield shifted. The weather factor. Game 3 had a steady south-southeast wind blowing right to left across Yankee Stadium. Exactly the conditions that would affect a pop-up to left field. As Barger said post-game, it kind of just started tailing towards the stands a little bit, which is kind of weird for a left-handed fly ball. Usually they would come back towards the line at the end. Barger and Snyder are moving toward the ball. In this situation, the outfielder should have priority. He's got the better angle and is moving forward while Barger is drifting backward. But he called off Snyder and kept drifting back toward the foul line. The wind pushes the ball further than expected, and it hits off the tip of Barger's glove. Coaching analysis. Why the left fielder should take it. The left fielder has 3 major advantages here. Better angle, moving forward toward the ball, and experience reading wind patterns in the outfield. Barger is moving backward, which is always harder than moving forward catching a fly ball. Plus, he's fighting the wind drift that is pushing the ball towards the stands and away from him. In a shift, outfielders must be more vocal because infielders are out of their normal positions. Schneider should have been calling this ball aggressively. The immediate impact. Wells reaches second base in the air instead of being out. Trent Grisham walks, putting 2 runners on for Aaron Judge.
For the franchise record. On a 2-strike pitch. Hits a drive down the line. If it's fair, it's his moment. It is!
Judge crushes a 3-run homer to left, tying the game 6-6. A routine out becomes a game-changing 3-run inning. What should have happened? Schneider, as a left fielder, should have called this ball early and loud. Don't let the infielder take a ball you have a better angle on. If Barger was going to take it, he needed to be more decisive about his positioning and account for the wind conditions. The coaching staff should have emphasized wind awareness before the game. Those south-southeast gusts were forecast to affect exactly these types of plays. Blue Jays error number 3. Santander's failed diving catch. 6th inning, Yankees already ahead 8-6. Judge is on first base with 1 out. Cody Bellinger follows with what appears to be a routine line drive to right field. But this ball was hit off the end of the bat with tremendous topspin, creating a sinking line drive that fooled Anthony Santander. Santander's immediate reaction was to go back, and that was a critical mistake. The topspin made this ball drop faster than expected. According to StatCast, this was a 90% catch probability play, meaning Santander should make this play 9 times out of 10. Judge advances from first to third base. Varsho was backing up the play, which prevented Judge from scoring, but the damage was done. Ben Rice's sacrifice fly brings Judge home easily from third, extending the Yankees' lead 9-6. Coaching analysis. Reading topspin. Balls hit off the end of the bat with heavy topspin will dive much faster than they appear initially. Outfielders must recognize the spin immediately. The key is not the initial trajectory, but how the ball behaves in flight. Santander read the launch, but not the spin. When in doubt with a sinking liner, especially in a high leverage situation, play it on a hop rather than risking the dive, especially if you broke back. There's the experience factor in this as well. Santander missed most of the season due to injury and played only 16 games in right field all year. A potential clincher in the ALDS wasn't the right time to test his range. Schneider's decision to put Santander in right field instead of a more defensively reliable option came back to haunt them. Let's break down what should have happened on each of these plays, because understanding the right decision helps prevent the wrong one. On the Kiner-Falefa ground ball, trust your glove, make the routine play. There's 2 outs. Inning over, maintain the momentum. Even after the bobble, he had time to recover, but panic killed the play. The Barger substitution should have never happened, especially that early in the game. Don't make defensive changes with a comfortable lead unless injury forces your hand. Keep your best defenders on the field when the game matters most. Jazz's mental lapse teaches us to stay alert on every pitch. know the game situation, and be ready for chaos when the balls aren't caught. The Blue Jays were aggressive all season. That should have been top of mind. For the pop-up communication breakdown, that's the outfielder's ball. When in doubt, let the player with the better angle take it. The wind made this even more critical. In Santander's diving attempt, know the game situation. If you misread the ball off the bat, play it in front of you, and limit the big inning. Here's the reality of October baseball. These defensive plays don't always show up in the highlight reels, but it absolutely determines outcomes. Even good defenders like Jazz Chisholm make mental mistakes under pressure. That's human nature. But the difference between championship teams and everyone else is how you respond to those mistakes and whether you capitalize on your opponent's errors. The Blue Jays' mistakes were magnified because they came at crucial moments, while the Yankees capitalized on every single opportunity. That's championship level execution when it matters most. This is why we break down these moments. Not to criticize players, but to learn from them. What plays should we analyze next on Coach's Tape? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button for more playoff breakdowns. And remember, in October, fundamentals separate the winners from those watching at home.